Welcome back to The Huddle. And as you guys can see, I have a very special guest with me. My brother, your very own, Luke Kuechly is in the building, joining us on The Huddle right now. Luke, so we saw what happened in the game on Sunday. And whenever you lose a game the way that we lost this game on Sunday, it's even tougher. It's tougher for the guys in the locker room. It's tougher for the fan base. And we've unfortunately been a part of some losses like this. You know, kind of talk to our viewers a little bit about how you've been able to handle and bounce back from a loss like that.
Well, I think the biggest thing that you have is you watch a tape on Monday, and you can't hide behind tape. What's shown on the tape is what happened in the game. And I think the best thing you can do is take accountability for where you struggled. There's no pointing fingers. There's no he did this, he did that. It's, hey, how can I get better? And when you struggle in a game like that, I look back, we played Minnesota in 2014. We played Baltimore in 2014. We struggled, and I didn't play very well. And I think you have to look at yourself first and say, how can I get better? When a play comes up on tape, take accountability for it. And I think that kind of puts everybody at ease and says, hey, you know what? I've made mistakes before. You've made mistakes before. And then it gets put to rest. And then on Wednesday, that's really, I think, the second part of the phase is on Monday, you can put the game behind you by taking accountability for what happened, what you didn't do, and then on Wednesday, what are you going to do about it? So, hey, if I wasn't in my gap, if I played with my hands incorrectly on the game on Sunday, on Wednesday, you better show up and do exactly what you talked about in that tape room. Hey, I was out of the B gap. I got to use my hands. I got to be in the outside portion. This is why. All right, boom, on Wednesday, now when you get that same look in practice, you got to go out and do it, and it shows basically took accountability for what I did, and now here's me doing a good job getting better at it.
You know, so we had some opportunities where we had to bounce back from a tough loss. And the game that comes to mind for me was the primetime game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're riding high. We have a good thing going at that point in the season, and all hell breaks loose. Cam ends up getting hurt. It seemed like we could not stop the bleeding. Pittsburgh probably scored on every possession that they had after that. And, you know, it was tough for us to be able to say that we're a really good defense, but to experience a loss that way. And I think one of the biggest things that we had as a football team that didn't completely allow our ship to sink in that moment was we had some really good veteran leadership. And in this moment right now with this football team, especially with it being this early in the season, it's important, I feel like, for the veteran leaders to step up. Coach Rivera did a phenomenal job in the way that he handled it, in the way that he approached that game for us, because when we came back, he wasn't harping on all of the things that we did wrong. He allowed us to understand and know, look, we got to get better. There are a lot of things that we have to fix, but we didn't watch a whole lot of film that week. We didn't go back and he didn't tear us down. He didn't make us feel any worse than we already did as a football team. He allowed the veterans to step in and have some players-only meetings. You know, we had a bunch of those. So it was one of those things where the veterans had to step in and just let everybody know we got to calm the waters right now.
Absolutely, and I think your best players and your veterans have to show everybody what it looks like. So on the defensive side of the ball, Shaq Thompson, we both know Shaq. We played with Shaq. Shaq will go out there and he's going to communicate. He's going to talk. Josie Jewell, the other linebacker, Jadeveon Clowney, Jordan Fuller, Xavier Woods. Some of our older guys, obviously Derek Brown's going to be out. Ashawn Robinson, J.C. Horn. Guys that are older guys are who the young guys are going to be looking to, right? You look at Trevin Wallace. He's going to be like, hey, man, what does it look like after we lose a game like this? Who's he going to look to? He's going to look to Shaq and Josie in his room. You look at the outside corners, Chow Smith-Wade. Hey, how does JC rebound from this? How about some of our young offensive linemen? What is Corbett and Taylor Moton? What do they do? How do they act? And I think that's the biggest thing for our team is really just who are we as a team? What do we believe in? And I think a lot of it comes down to just go out there and have a really good practice. Communicate, play hard, play your technique, and rely on each other. We can't point fingers, and our best teams were able to kind of flush that and come back the next week and say, hey, it's a new week. We learned a lot last week. We struggled in some aspects, but we're a good team.
Yeah, and I think I agree with that wholeheartedly. They have to stay together because there are going to be a lot of people on the outside that's going to try to divide this football team. They're going to try to They're going to try to define who you are and what you are capable of as a football team, literally based on one game. And if the veteran leaders, like I just talked about and like we just talked about, don't step up and calm the waters, then that can become your reality, right? It can become a part of your story and a part of what happens to this football team if you start listening to the things. And, you know, I had the opportunity to speak with Bryce Young. You know, a lot of people are going to start passing judgment on Bryce after one game into the season. And I think one of the things that I wanted to impress upon Bryce in having a conversation with him, and I simply just told him, like, look up. I said, the sky's still up there, right? It ain't falling. Something that simple just puts your mind at ease as a player, you know, to know that you have a vote of confidence from people that believe in you, from people within this organization, from your teammates. And I think Bryce is a guy that he's not easily rattled. And that's one of the things that I absolutely love about that kid. And I know that he's going to have a bounce back game, and I know that it matters to him and the way that he performs, and you see it every single day. He goes out, he performs at a high level. But this football team, although it is a young football team, we have enough veteran leaders that have to step in and make sure that this group stays together.
Yeah, I think a lot of it starts with the head coach, Dave Canales, and you listen to him talk. As an older guy, you love what he has to say. He's positive, he believes in what he says, and ultimately I think he believes in his vision for what this team can become. And so as an older guy, you can talk to the young guys about accountability, playing hard, doing your job. You can work really hard at practice, and then boom, now you can back it up and say, our head coach believes in us. I think that's something that doesn't get talked about enough. His love for the guys, his love for the game, and don't take his niceness for anything other than it is. That's who he is, but he also has a really good foundation for what he believes in as a football team. So I think it's one game. I think obviously it wasn't how we wanted to start, but I believe in the older guys that we have. I believe in the coaches. I think we're in really good shape with Dave Canales. I'm excited for week 2 at home.
So we're going to sign off by saying to you guys, this fan base, we know that you guys have absolutely been looking for a winning product, and we've been working hard to get that done. And this organization is committed to getting that done. And I can tell you guys wholeheartedly, these guys want to go out and they want to win games, but they have to have your support this weekend as we get ready to take on the LA Chargers. We need this building packed. We need everybody excited, eager to help do your part in making sure that this football team is successful. We know that the first game didn't go the way that we wanted it to go, but we have an opportunity to right those wrongs. And like we just talked about, me and Luke have absolutely been on the same side of a tough loss, but we also understand and know what it's like to come and bounce back from a tough loss. So this team has that opportunity to do that, but they're going to need your support this Sunday in Bank of America Stadium. So I want to thank Luke Kuechly for coming and joining us. And until we meet again, keep pounding.